For the next few minutes, I want you to forget about all the techniques. Forget the affirmations, the visualizations, the questions, the doubts, because none of that matters if you miss this one thing. If you're constantly asking, how do I get him to text me? Or how do I make this money show up? Or is this working yet? Then you're not living in the end. You're living in lack. You're living in the version of you who doesn't have it yet. And that is why it still feels out of reach. Neville Goddard taught one core truth that people love to skip over in favor of fancier methods. But this one thing is the thing that changes everything. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to stop living like it's not yours and start living as if it already is. Because that is the secret. Hello, my beautiful superheroes. Welcome back to my channel, the place where we make the impossible possible. If you're new here, hi. I'm Scarlett Grace, I'm a manifestation coach, and I'm here to help you finally manifest your heart's desires using the law of assumption and Neville Goddard's teachings. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And if you're ready to finally become the version of you who naturally has your desire, coaching is still open for a few more weeks. You will find the link in the description below. Let me start with a question. When you think about your desire, whether it's a specific person, money, a job, a certain lifestyle, what is your default inner dialogue? Is it, what do I need to do to make this happen? What if it doesn't work? Oh, I hope I'm doing this right. If that's your inner dialogue, then that is the problem. Because Neville Goddard didn't teach us to figure out how to make things happen. He didn't say, convince yourself it's coming. He said to live from the end. He said, you must dare to assume that you are what you want to be. And that is not about faking it. It's about being it internally. Shifting into the mindset of someone who already has it. That is the real work when it comes to manifestation. And here's where most people mess it up. They keep thinking from their old identity. They are thinking as the version of themselves who is still trying to manifest it, not the version of themselves who already has it. And the version who already has it, they're not asking things like, will this work? They're asking, now that I've got it, what's next? Huge difference. So let's try a quick test. I want you to listen to this and pay attention to what comes up in your mind. Or say this sentence either out loud or silently. Now that me and my specific person are together, I'm planning our next weekend getaway. And now I want you to answer this question. When you heard that or when you said that, did you immediately feel excited, peaceful? Did your imagination start playing with the idea? Or did you hear, but that hasn't happened yet? I don't know if this is going to happen. Why are we even talking about that? Where we go for the next weekend getaway is a problem for when we're already together. Why are we even focusing on that now? It's not relevant. The point is to manifest a relationship first. If what you heard was the second voice, that is the version of you that is blocking the manifestation. That is the old story, the old state, that is trying to drag you back. In other words, this voice is not living from the end. This voice is the voice of the version of you who has the identity of, I am trying to manifest this. This is what Neville meant when he said, you must remain loyal to your assumption, not loyal to your doubts, not loyal to what your current 3D is showing you, not loyal to the old story of what happened up until now, loyal to your new assumption, loyal to your new identity. And just so we're clear, this isn't only about a specific person. I gave a specific person example because I know a lot of you are here to manifest your dream relationship or an ex back. And yes, this absolutely applies to all of that. But it also applies to manifesting your dream home, your ideal income, a better job, better health, a different body, anything you want. The process doesn't change based on the desire. So the only question is, are you thinking about your desire or are you thinking from your desire? By the way, if your desire is a specific person and you've been stuck in that spiral of how do I make this work? What do I need to do? What should I be focusing on? I have a 21-day course just for that. It's called Manifest Your Specific Person, and it's going to walk you through exactly what you need to do to manifest your specific person in the easiest way possible. No begging, no obsessing, just manifesting the result that you actually want. You will find the link in the description below. So, when you live as if your wish is fulfilled, you stop looking for signs and start thinking from the outcome. You stop reacting to what's missing and start creating from what's yours already. You don't need to constantly visualize or say affirmations 100 times a day when you truly believe it's done, because your imagination is already naturally operating from it. You're not trying to bring this thing to you or this person to you. You're bringing yourself into the version of you who already has it, and you think and feel and make plans from there, from that version who has it. This is what Neville meant when he said, think from the end, not of the end. Let me say that again. Not of the end, from the end. Thinking of the end is thinking stuff like, how will I manifest my specific person? What do I need to do to make more money? Will I ever manifest my dream house in that market? Thinking from the end is, now that I have my specific person, I can do X. Now that I've finally moved into my dream house, it's time to think about X. Now that I'm making so much money, I will finally do X. Is this starting to click for you? Let's make this real. Here's what I want you to do, and if you do this, you will have a very clear idea how to actually live from the end easily and without any confusion. Imagine that you already manifested this desire. And no, I don't mean close your eyes and play your imaginal scene right now or anything like that. Just accept that it happened a week ago or this morning, and now ask yourself, what am I focusing on now that this manifestation actually happened? Before, when it hadn't happened yet, you were focusing on how to make it happen. You were focused on how to manifest it. But now, it manifested. It's done. It showed up in your 3D. It's yours. You don't have to visualize about it anymore. You don't have to affirm about it. You don't have to script about it anymore because it's here already. So, what are you going to do next? The answer to that is how you live from the end. So, let's say that you are manifesting a specific person. Before you manifested it, you may have had thoughts like, am I manifesting him right? I don't see any movement. What if I fail to manifest her? Now that you're together though, you don't think about how to manifest the relationship because it's yours. You think about other things. You think stuff like, now that we're together, I want to plan a surprise for his birthday. Or now that we're together, maybe it's time to start looking for the perfect weekend getaway for us for Christmas. Or if you're manifesting your dream house, before, when you were manifesting it, you were thinking stuff like, how am I going to manifest the money for that kind of house that I want? But now that you have the house, you think, now that my dream house is mine, it's time to choose the decoration that I want for my new living room. Let me create a new Pinterest board and start saving ideas. Or let's talk about money. Before, you were thinking stuff like, how do I make more money? What technique should I use to manifest money? What's the fastest method to manifest this? But now that you have the income that you want, you think stuff like, now that I'm making double my old income, I should probably automate my savings, or maybe upgrade my workspace, or finally go on vacation because now I can easily afford it. Or if you want to manifest your dream body, let's say that you wanted to lose weight, okay? So before you were thinking, how should I lose that weight? What's the best way to do it? Should I go to the gym? Should I go on a diet? Should I just focus on manifesting it? Should I script about it? Oh, let me imagine that I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I have my dream body. And how many times do I need to do this per day for that to happen fast? Because, I want it to happen fast because it's already the summer and I need to look good at the beach. So I need to make it happen fast. But now that you have your dream body, now that you shed all the weight that you wanted to shed, now you're thinking stuff like, oh, I feel amazing. Don't I look good? I think it's time for a style change. Like maybe it's a time for a makeover. How about I get a new haircut because I think that will look good? Maybe I need to go shopping too because all my clothes are so big now and I need new clothes. I cannot wear those. So, do you see the difference? Thinking of the end result is thinking how, when, why, and worrying because it's not here yet. You're here, your desire is over there, and you're thinking about it. Thinking from the end result is, my result is here, is already mine. What's the next step? What am I going to do now that I have it? You're not focused on resolving the problem or getting the result. You assume it's here and you think about the next steps. And those can be related to the original manifestation or maybe completely unrelated. For example, if you're manifesting a specific person and you go to the end where you're happily together, the next step could be planning your wedding, or it can be in a completely other area of life. So I've had coaching clients tell me, I also want to manifest a career change and more money, but that will have to wait because I'm focused on manifesting my ex back now. Well, if you go to the end of that, if you go to where you are already back together, then that's the time when you focus on your career instead. So think thoughts around that. When you catch yourself thinking, how do I make this happen? How do we get back together? Switch them to, now that we are already back together, I'm focusing on my career. So basically, stop planning about how to make it happen and start thinking, planning, and figuring out the next steps after it happens as if it has already happened and it's time for you to figure out those things. If it's clicking for you, let me know in the comments what is one thing that you're going to focus on or do now that your desire has already manifested. So when you live from the end, you're not convincing reality. You're shifting your identity, and that is what changes your world. You've probably heard me say this before if you watched many of my videos, but I'll say it again. Reality is just a mirror reflecting back what is inside of you. When you assume it's done, when you actually walk around as if you are already that version of you, your world reconfigures itself to match that. And if you are truly assuming your wish fulfilled, you need to think, feel, and act as if it's truly happened. And that's what trips most people up because they take that to mean, think about being in the relationship or having the money 24/7, get obsessed with it. But that is not natural at all because when we get something we want, what happens is we actually stop focusing on it so much and move on to something else instead. So if you want to easily embody the version of you who has that desire already, that is exactly what you need to do. And here's the wild part. Once you make that internal change, the original desire you've been manifesting often starts feeling boring, but not in a bad way, but in the best of ways. Why? Because you're actually not chasing it anymore. You're not desperate. You're not surprised that it's yours. You're used to it because it's become natural and normal for it to be yours. If you don't believe me, think back to something you really wanted in the past. Not something you consciously manifested necessarily, but anything really. Like you wanted a new cell phone. Let's say you wanted the new iPhone. And you were really excited to get it. Maybe even saved up for it. But once you got it, like after a day or two or a week maximum of having it, you weren't even focused on the phone anymore. Why would you? It was already yours. So you were thinking something like, now that I got the iPhone and I don't have to save up for it anymore, maybe it's time to get that designer bag next. Or maybe it was a vacation or something else. You saved up for one thing, it got done, you moved on to the next thing. You weren't thinking about getting the iPhone because it had already become yours. You were thinking and planning other things. And after a few months of actually having that iPhone, you weren't even paying much attention to the fact that you had the new iPhone anymore. Because it became a given. Old news. It was natural and normal for you to have the new iPhone because you had it for 2 months. It had already become the norm. That is how it works with your specific person, and with your dream house, and with your ideal job, and with the car you want, and with your dream body, and with any desire you have now or will ever have in the future. You don't have to rack your brain to figure out how to live from the end, okay? Just replicate the natural process of what happens when you get anything you want. You stop focusing on how to get it, since it's now yours, and you normalize it until it isn't even a big deal anymore. And you focus on the next steps instead. That's the secret to living from the end in the easiest way possible. So, here's what I want you to do. For the next 24 hours, stop trying to get anything. Start being the version of you who already has it. Grab a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone and write down a list of things you would focus on, plan, or do if that thing that you desire had magically appeared in your 3D already when you woke up this morning. And then start incorporating that in your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking of how to manifest your desire, stop and remind yourself that it magically appeared and you don't have to manifest it anymore. You already did. When you see things that you wanted to do once you got this desire, tell yourself, oh, now that I got my desire, I can finally do this. Awesome. This is how you naturally start thinking like the version of you who has it already. Talk like the version of you who has it already. Plan like the version of you who has it already. And when you do that, it will show up in your life. It's inevitable. But I know that many of you are wondering right now, but won't people think I've gone completely crazy if I start acting like this thing is already mine? So let me get this straight. You're telling me that if I see my ex at the grocery store, I should fall in his arms and start kissing him passionately because I'm assuming we're already back together? That is nuts. This makes no sense. So if you have questions about how exactly to live from the end, then you need to watch the video that's on your screen right now, because in that video, I will walk you through different scenarios so that you can fully understand how to live from the end of different desires in a way that actually makes sense to you and won't make you look crazy to everyone around you, I promise. So go watch that video right now, and I'll see you in the next video.